Alright. Oh boy, I am wild on a bike. Good morning, evening, afternoon, everybody. Bloody Candy, and today, this morning, we're gonna bring you some good news here called Titus the Fox. Probably one of the greatest Game Boy games to ever exist. And, yeah, it's a video game, alright. With that said, we'll talk about it as we go through here. We'll get everything set up here. Also, if you're going to GDQ, I want to play Titus the Fox co-op with you probably, because the Titus the Fox co-op in this is awesome. Probably one of the coolest Game Boy co-op games I think I might have played in my life. For this one, we're going to play on easy. The difference between the two difficulties is that easy, the game runs a bit slower, but it's a lot more safe for the marathon. On hard, the game runs at about 1.5 speed, and it's a lot more difficult in certain segments and not as marathon safe, because there are limited continues in this game. So with that said, let's get rolling in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, so right away here we got Titus. A jump, speed grabs items. The crate is just a simple crate throw. You can throw it into enemies and break them out. We got enemies that are going to jump over. Mostly we're going to be pacifists in this run. There are the black balls, which we will use to jump over certain enemies, and then here's our first instance of a secret puzzle. The entire game is all about cryptic pathing, and I don't know why, but that's just how Titus became Titus. And from here we're going to end this finish 1-1. Cryptic pathing doesn't really become a real thing until like World 4 basically. So here are the opening segments. The game once did teach you how to use the items and how to traverse through the certain stages, but we know how to do it. We've played the game 300 plus times. So here there's actually a little secret section right there that takes you to the top of the stage. I'm gonna completely ignore it, and we're just gonna keep moving right here. At the end of the stage, we have those little squares, and every bonus stage we encounter, we don't want to collect any of those squares if we can help it, and we want to try and kill ourselves as quick as possible in these bonus stages. Now, there is a weird issue with not necessarily issue, I guess, but there is a weird thing with the bonus stages where it counts towards your life count. So that's why this game I prefer to play on easy versus hard, because you have to have control of your lives as well. Because when you die in a bonus game, you lose life, and it's not a good time. Game over in this game is not a good time, and like I said, there are limited continues. So here we're going to get to a certain piece of the floor, which you probably would never guess, but eventually that does break open. We're gonna take a hit here. We do have to be careful of our hit management now. I would have taken the crate to help clean up some of the enemies that we're going to encounter, but this game does have a physics engine in it, in that whenever I carry a crate like that, Titus actually can't make that jump without taking substantial damage. Because Titus actually loses speed and jump value based off of what they're carrying. Here we can take up to 2 more hits before we die. What we want to try and do is preserve a hit for this skeleton right here. The way things work in Titus is that if you bonk your head off the ceiling, Titus does get pushed down a lot faster. This stage here is actually an incredibly long stage, but there's a shortcut at the very start of the stage here where we can hug the bottom left corner. It's literally just going to take us right to the end of the stage. Otherwise, this is a notoriously pretty long stage to traverse through. So here we have another bonus segment. If you think you can crawl underneath them, you're wrong. The hitboxes on those squares are just ridiculous. So what we want to try and do is we want to get into a spike pit up here. And when we get into the spike pit, we want to crouch into the spike pit, because what's going to happen is that when Titus starts to take damage, he bounces up. And if we lay down in the spike pit, his hitbox goes inside of the spikes, and it doesn't let him bounce up as high, so we can actually take damage faster. To get out of those bonus screens faster as well. here we go into stage 3. This is, in my opinion, probably the hardest world, mostly because of the mayonnaise platforms. So here we're going to do a Mario Brothers trick here of just walking across the top of the screen. And we're going to hopefully take a shortcut that doesn't pitfall Larry us into oblivion. If you don't know what pitfall, if you don't know that, if you don't get that reference, go play Super Pitfall on the NES. So here there's a passageway that we want to take in. These are the mayonnaise platforms. They're sticky and slippery all at the same time. And what we want to try and do here is not take a hit if we can help it. Okay, well, I guess we're not going to help it. So here we have to be a little careful. So there's a fly down there. I need to figure out where our platform is from above because I was a little off. Oh, don't you jerk! That's why we wanted to be careful of where the platforms were. So there was a game over because again, you lose your lives in a bonus round, but we would have gotten a life back after that bonus. Get out of the way, worm. Not the end of the world. The next stage is long. It's hard, but it's not as dangerous. It's just long. But yeah, if you've never played Super Pitfall on the NES, I encourage it. Honestly, probably one of the best NES games out there too. So here we're gonna try and take that shortcut again. Oh, we didn't get Pitfall Larry. That's good. Here we got the mayonnaise platforms. Let's not take damage off of that lady this time. That'd be great, Titus. Or or the spikes too. That would be even better. Right, we'll wait for that lady on the second level there to thing. Okay, just slide. Let's stop, Titus. Titus. Don't make me get Superman. All right. For those that don't get that reference, Titus made Superman for the N64. I always threaten Titus with the Superman. Here we gotta be a little careful of where we land here, and we kind of get we gotta be a little aggressive now with this. So here we have a worm. We're gonna play a little safe and wait for the worm to come by. Then we're gonna have a Mach 3 fly coming at us there. We gotta be careful of. Alright, and we get to the end. Like I said, that's probably the most dangerous stage of the game, just in my opinion. This stage here isn't too bad. It looks like a lot because of that angry fish right there. But really, there's not much to be afraid of in this stage. Not until the end, in a way. We do want to be careful of our hit points, again, at the end of the stage, because we do want to take a damage boost at the end of it. Not the end of the world if we can't get it, but it would be nice. Traditionally, if you touch water in the game, you die, but except for this stage, there are no pitfalls that I'm aware of that will just outright kill you. Game is really consistent that way. So here we're going to get to the edge and this big jump. There's the end of the stage actually right there. So here we're just going to do a mini jump, wait for the fish, big jump. And here we have another Mach 3 fly that we're just going to jump up and grab the ladder, because this game actually does a really nice thing where you can actually jump and grab the ladder and you don't just have to be already stationary on the ground. Hardest jump in the game right there because of the mayonnaise platforms. Just a quick check. We have 4 energy. Okay, thanks, Titus. We're just going to take a couple damage boosts right through the crawl segments and get to the end of the stage as fast as possible. Alright. So here we're in not the longest bonus stage, but probably one of the worst bonus stages. Oh no, I'm thinking of the next stage. So the next world has the worst bonus stage. So the next world has the spikes in the next world are really far away, and it's a tall screen because when Titus dies, you have to scroll the entire screen before he just falls off the screen, and you get a countdown timer. So this world is the longest world. Can be the longest world, rather, I should say. This is the haunted house world. Oh, I haven't gotten that jump in a while. This is the haunted house world. This world is all about flies, scorpions, and skeletons. And we have to be careful of each one of them. Everything does 1 damage to you. It's not the matter of damage control here. It's a matter of being careful for the very end. So here we have another tight jump to the square spin. So here we're gonna grab this bouncing ball. And we're just gonna take that initial hit here. But there is a cool little glitch in the game where if you line up the ball to that edge of the platform, typically it takes 3 bounces to get to a platform. But if you line up the ball, to an edge of a platform, you can get up there in 2. And we're going to abuse that in the final world of the game as well, at the very, very start. So here we're on this is the actual, like, the passing you have to take to beat the stage. Going across the top of the screen here. If you fall at any point, you basically get to redo the entire stage again. That's really, really good. So you go from a Mach 5 fly to a snail fly here. And then if you think if you land on that platform right there, that skeleton wouldn't hit you, not true at all. And that scorpion will turn around at the most unopportune moment, but that's fine. We walk through it, we get to the end, and we're done. This stage here, if you're casually playing Titus the Fox, is the bane of your existence. The reason I say that, the reason I say that is because you have to know the secret passage of the stage to beat it. And the game gives you 0 clues, 0 indications, 0 anything on this secret passage. You just have to know to take it. And you have to know to take a secret ladder, which again, the game does not tell you about at all. So we're gonna take this underground passage here. This is gonna take us to the far right side of the stage. And we're just gonna carry this crate around. Okay, we're not gonna carry that crate around anymore. We're just gonna jump over the fly instead. And this wall right here, you just have to happen to know. Jump into it to trigger a ladder that takes you to the top of the screen, that takes you to the exit of the stage. You just have to know that. You just have to know to jump into a wall to finish the stage. So here is the worst bonus stage in the game, in my opinion, which you can't avoid 90% of them. And here we have the long fall to the spike pit, which again we want to try and duck into them so we can get into the spike pit hitboxes to die faster. And then we have to fall over down the bottom of the screen. This is, like I said, this is the longest and worst bonus stage of the game. Alright, so World 5 Part 1, we are now in the desert or Persia, wherever we may be. What we want to do is that we are going to grab this ball right here. Doesn't matter which ball you grab, it could be that one or the one that we just saw. And we're going to take this all the way to a very certain part of a stage. Also note that you can walk through these segments or jump on top of them. That comes very important later on in this world. So here we're going to hop up here, and again, you'd think you just go to the right and finish the stage, but you have to understand to jump right here. Jump right here, Titus. Jump right here to activate a ladder in the middle of nowhere. And that you need a ball right here, and you need another ball. This so happens to be one right here. And you need a second ball to get to the other platform, which is right here. And that is the end of the stage, right there on top of this. Look at this. There we go. And that's the end of 5.1. 5.2, this stage just should never existed. That's a death pit right there. You might think it's a part of the foreground or part of the scenery. No, it just kills you. You just fall into a hole and die. Found that out the hard way during derusting. But here, you can take the top route. It gives you a bunch of squares, and you don't have to jump or dodge anything at all. It doesn't matter in this stage. Like I said, this stage just should have never existed. Alright. So remember how I said that you can walk through those certain platforms? Well, in the bonus stage, you can't. you have to jump on top of them. Very consistent programming throughout this entire game. So you actually have to jump on top of these little platforms here. And the best part of this bonus stage is coming up, because you can't die in this bonus stage. So you have to optimally try and get through the stage without collecting hardly any of these squares. So we're gonna try really hard not to collect a bunch of them, because you actually have to finish this bonus stage. Which is whatever. But in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you can't see it because the timer is covering it, but that's the end of the stage right there. So if you're just like, I don't know where to finish the stage, just keep walking and you'll eventually get there. So here we are in the final world. So this world here is going to mimic a lot of World 1. The difference is that the sprites are going to look different. Instead of the muscle bald men walking around, we're gonna have these people with the cool hat walking around. Instead of the homeless lady throwing bottles at you, there is going to be like a kid throwing bottles at you, and then instead of I guess the dog looks the same. So here we're gonna grab this ball, and we're gonna try and we're gonna take this here. And traditionally, you would take this to the left-hand side, but Titus, for some reason, gave us this nice little hole behind the kid, and we're just going to finish the stage. So this is the final stage of the game. Typically, what you would have to do is take this bouncy ball right here to get on top of this platform, but if you remember, we can glitch edges, where if you just jump straight up on the edge, you don't need that bouncy ball, and you can just go. And then as you jump, we're going to jump and press up at the ladder to get a hold of it, wait for Cool Hat to get away. And then we have probably some of the scariest jumps in the game, because if we miss any of these jumps, we have to redo a segment. So here, and they're pretty tight jumps, so here we got to make a jump here. This jump is not as scary, but we will have to jump over a kid throwing a bottle. And we wanted to make sure we had at least one hit left at the end of the stage, because we will have to take a damage boost to get to the end of the game here. One final jump, and we want to get into this little crevice right here. And we're just going to crawl so we don't get bounced out of oblivion. And GG. We saved our girlfriend. We did the thing. We Titus the Fox through the mazes. And everything is happy. They had to make sequels to the game on many different platforms, because just like any other game from the 90s, your girlfriend always got kidnapped by the bad guy, and you always had to save him. This game is actually like, it looks janky, it is janky, but it is kind of a fun game. If you can get past, honestly, kind of the bad music in it. I would say there is a Game Boy Color Titus the Fox as well too, that is very, very close to Titus the Fox on regular Game Boy. There is a couple differences in the Game Boy Color version. There are more stages, and some of the stages do behave a little bit differently. But again, very, very similar game to the Game Boy itself. That game probably on estimate would be about a 25-minute game. But yeah, that is Titus the Fox. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all check it out too. It's actually kind of, like I said, kind of a dope game. But yeah, I'll be back, and we'll be playing Dora the Explorer, Dora's World Adventure.